Welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and a very special two guys talking, which actually is now four guys talking.
Two guys squared.
two squared, and Rev has gone international. So we have John up in NorCal. Hello, John. We have
Hello.
Nick. We have Nick in New York. Hello. And we have Fazrul in Malaysia.
Hello there.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. One news story, one industry news story. Everyone has heard of Scratch Labs, right?
Yes, the energy drink.
Oh, yeah.
Supplement.
Energy drink, food, whatever. They just opened up a restaurant in Boulder, Colorado.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, that's interesting. How many of you use their products? I'm just curious, or have used their products in the past.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I've used
Not
it.
really
I've used their
available
drink.
here.
Not available in Malaysia. Very good. Okay. All right. They had a couple of these cookbooks. So hopefully that's in focus. Portables and stuff that you could make at home. And, you know, you'd make a big old baking tray of it and cut it up and then wrap it up. And they sold the wrapping paper too. You know, vertical. I was friends with quite a few people that were in the beginning. This company started basically in 2012. And in fact, in a very long time ago, like 2006 or something, I attended a meeting with Alan Lim, who was more of a sports physiologist before he became a food nutrition person. And it was when he was still advising. Does anyone remember TIA-CREF, the protein?
No,
Or,
I don't
you know,
remember
the whey
them.
protein, which later morphed and eventually became Garmin and eventually became
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
way back. And it was a power meter class, and this was like 2005 or 6, something like that. And it was held upstairs in a Trek store, and there was only like 7 of us there.
So definitely grassroots at this point, yeah?
Super grassroots. Yeah, very cool. I've known him a very long time, but he doesn't remember me, but I do remember him. All right. Let's get to new bike day for Nick.
Hooray, congratulations.
How's it going, Nick? Tell us about
Oh,
your
it's been wonderful, George. I'm very pleased with the bike. It's been a pleasure to ride.
Well,
I just
George
did
and Nick, can we back up really quick and talk
yeah.
about what exactly your new bike is before
Oh,
you
I'm
talk
sorry.
about how awesome it is?
My awesome bike, a Ritchey. I got a Ritchey Logic rim brake. I
Yes.
have Ultegra components on it. Crank is a Praxis 4832.
Yeah,
And
how's that working out for you? Because
that is perfect for me, George. It
is
really
it okay?
it really helps me a lot, and I just like it. It's just perfect. Oh, and I have the EE brakes on it.
Oh, nice.
I am shocked on how well you get nice feedback, with it, and it's just amazing how nice they stop, and they make a nice little cool little buzz too, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, the brake track makes a nice
Yeah, but, with the with the wheels that I have the head wheels on it.
may have a misconception about these brakes that people buy them because of their lightweight and they're half the weight of Dura-Ace brakes, but their stopping power is
No,
ridiculous.
yeah. When I
There's
came,
there's no compromise
No.
for half the weight, the power that you get out of them, right?
no, I had, my first real big descent. I'm coming down, and I got on the brakes hard because I had to, and I overdid it. I was just like, holy smokes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's amazing how they stop well, but you also have that little bit of feedback through the brakes. You can kind of feel what you're doing, and it's I kind of like that. I
Yeah.
kind of got a feel for the bike, and I'm very happy with the choice of those brakes. That worked out really well.
Good. Good.
So, like I was saying, I had last weekend, was it Saturday? I did a 200K with the New Jersey
Oh,
REV Engineers. And
nice.
yeah, we started out of Fort Lee, New Jersey, right by
I
the
know.
George Washington Bridge.
I know Fort Lee. I used to. Yeah,
And
I used to live
we,
there.
yeah, and we
Not in
hit,
not in Fort Lee, but I mean a stone's throw away from Fort Lee in North
yeah,
Bergen.
and we headed north up to Harriman State Park. Went up through that way and looped around and came back. And it was a fair amount of climbing for me, 8,000 feet.
That's
And
good.
I'll tell you what, George, I got off the bike and other than I had a couple little hot spots on my feet, just to, still getting used to the pedals and adjusting them. Other than that, man, I felt good. Better than I ever have. And I don't know if it was just the excitement of a new bike or what, but I got it dialed in pretty good.
Yeah.
Being stretched out a little bit more, I
Yep.
think is like really helped me out a lot.
Right. You initially wanted a 90 stem, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, move that thing out. So we went out to 110.
And you know what? I feel so much better on the bike. I don't feel scrunched up and it doesn't bother my neck as much. And I feel like I'm in more control of the bike.
Are you bending your elbows, sir?
I am bending my elbows. Every time I get down, you got that burnt into my brain. It's messed up. I'm messed up now.
Because people ride like this.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I actually have an email from someone who asked me for some fitting advice, and he sends me a picture, and he's like, "I feel stretched out. Should I go from the 55 to the 53 and get a 60 stem?" And I'm like, and in case the viewers can't see me, I'm like, "No, bend your elbows." Right. So, okay, so that's
Yeah, that was the way to go. And I was, I was kind of skeptical about it, but after riding it, I'm just like, holy smokes, the bike feels dialed in.
and it'll descend better as well.
And that's what I like about the bike. It descends nice and it's just stable and it just smooth. And I can't believe how light it feels,
Yeah. Yeah.
compared to
And we're
my
talking
other
about
bike,
a
you
steel
know?
bike, remember? We're
Right,
talking about a
right.
steel bike.
Yeah. I'm comparing it to my other bikes and it just feels so much more, I don't know, light and supple. And I get up on the pedals and start pedaling and man, it just goes.
You know what I forgot to tell you? That my brakes are swapped.
Yeah. I mentioned.
You figured it out?
The thought that came into my head was this is a dancey bike. It really wants to go.
Yeah.
This is much nicer than my Nemo. I like it.
Well, it's why I sell so many of them.
Yeah, as Jess would have described her bike, she said it's alive. It's very lively.
It
Yeah.
is lively and it's just nimble and it feels light. I don't know how to explain it, but it's bizarre compared to
Yeah.
I like my other bikes, but this one is just I don't know if I'll ever ride the other ones anymore.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up, but I'm going to kind of encapsulate some of the stuff you just said.
Yeah.
These are all adjectives and characteristics that no one ever, especially in the carbon world, will ever say about a steel bike. Everything you just said.
Yeah, and it's just, to me it's a nice ride, but it feels fast. And I'm not, I don't get nervous going down a hill on it. It just feels,
Yeah.
I feel everything and I know what I'm doing. And it's just a nice riding bike.
Now, you mentioned just a second ago about your other bikes, and this is what I really did want to ask you. Has it been 3 weeks now? How long have you had the bike?
Yeah, I'd say 3 weeks. I put about 250 miles on it. I haven't been riding since Saturday because some
Yeah.
other stuff going on,
Yeah.
but I can't
Have you
wait to
even
get back
have
on.
you even looked at the other bikes? Your other steel bike?
I feel bad for him, but it's just like, I look at it, it's like, now I want to ride this one.
Right, right.
My other bikes are DI, Di2, and you know, the mechanical part of it does, I don't mind it. It's just all of a sudden it doesn't really make a difference right now.
Yeah, well,
It,
watch
it,
out because with your Di2 bike, when you want to go ride it,
I know.
is it going to be charged? Is it going to be ready?
yeah, because
Exactly.
now you actually have to start thinking about that. Oh, I
Hmm.
need to charge my bike
Yeah.
because whatever, right?
It's I'm still not I'm still getting used to clipping into those pedals though, you know. I'm just not
Yeah.
I
Well,
have to think about it when I'm doing it.
yeah, and for the audience, he's coming off of speed play pedals,
Yes.
Wahoo pedals, and he's now on a Shimano Favero power meter pedals. A dramatic difference in the pedal platform. So I could understand a little
Yeah.
bit of
It's
time.
just, you know, I have to kind of look down and it hasn't become natural yet, you know,
Yeah.
but it's getting there. I'm getting better
Yeah,
at it.
well, I admit, Nick, I have time pedals which are single-sided also, and I look down still
Yeah.
to clip in.
Yeah.
Well, it takes a little bit more than look down right now. Fumble around a little bit, then I finally get in there. But I really I like them a lot better than the speed play for me. They just work better for me. I have a wide foot and it just feels better. I feel like I don't know, it just I'm planted better in those, I think. The other ones I just felt always sloppy and moving around a lot in them, you know?
Yeah. I personally I don't like float. I've ridden the pedals for many years. The speed play rep always wanted to get me on board. So, they're like, hey, here, try my
Yeah.
pedals. And I'd ride them for a few weeks.
Yeah,
And
I've tried them for what, God, 7 years, six,
wow.
7 years, and yeah, I just kept going like, I'm going to try something else, going to try something else, you know, but I've never gotten around to it, and I finally got around to it, and I'm happy I did.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of Speed Play's thing is that they're known for the float. Like, so if you like float, then what I've heard is that those are the ones that people tend to gravitate to.
Yeah, they just, you know, for me, they didn't last.
Mm.
The clips on the shoes always break for me, and it
And then
just
a lollipop fell off of one of yours.
Oh,
oh yeah,
wow.
off the off the power meter that I bought, you know.
Oh, man.
And luckily, I didn't go flying, but I felt it kind of grinding, and all of a sudden, it just came off. You know, I was like, "Holy smokes!" You know, luckily, I made it back home.
Yeah. Your
But
your left leg is now made of steel from one-legged pedaling.
it was downhill the whole way.
Yeah.
Right.
So Nick, power meter. We didn't talk about that. How's
The
that working out for you?
the power meter is awesome. Just kind of like working on what displays I want to look at. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I've been kind of going by what you told me, and watts per kilogram seems to
Yep.
be like what I, you know, look at the most.
Right.
Try and keep it in a certain range, and it
Yep.
works out. You know, I try not to overdo it, and you know, it keeps me from blowing up. You know,
That's the idea. That's the idea.
and
Uh,
I like the pedals. They're easy. You plug, you know, charge up.
yeah.
I've charged them once. That's it. So
Yeah.
see how
50,
far they'll
60
go.
hours. Yeah. It's
60
like
hours, I think. Yeah.
60 hours. Yeah. Have you been able to tune into the power meter for dummies, power for dummies?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been
Okay.
watching your stuff, and it's you know, something I think we talked about beforehand, and it works for me.
Yeah.
Something I need to work, especially, you know, climbing, because I'm not a climber like you. I get up, but
Yeah, and
you
for
know,
some of the viewers that don't
uh,
know, George has this series of videos, kind of, I call it my first power meter. But basically, now that you have it, what do you do with it?
yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they're 3 to 5 minute videos. There was a 14-minute one, but that was longer than I wanted it to be. I'm trying to keep them below.
No, and they, you know, they get to the point quick, and it's just, you know, you just need little bits of information to kind of work on, and set up your displays of what you want to look at, and it works for me. It works good, and I, like I said, this last weekend was a lot of climbing for me, and I was dialed into it. It was perfect.
This is at some point we need to get John on a power meter because he still doesn't
Oh, he doesn't
understand.
have a power.
He still
No.
doesn't understand why I routinely talk about how important a power meter is for your bike equipment. But so we've got Fazrul in Malaysia. We don't want to keep him out of the mix for too long. There was a video that I did, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday, that kind of discussed a little bit about my interaction with Fazrul over email. Do you want to lay it out for us and then we'll kind of all of us give you our words of wisdom?
Sure, sure, George. I mean, I guess for those who might not have watched that particular video, right? I mean, my concern was the fact that I have been um, DNFing some of my rides lately, right? It was the latest one was an actual brevet ride. It was a 400 km ride, and you know, I did some training rides before those. Yeah, tried to attempt a 200 plus km and another 300 km, and I'm not sure if it was a mental block as well, right? Right. So even the trainings leading up to the event, um, I did not complete those rides. Yeah. So I have done prior rides before. This is probably my um, third or fourth year into cycling. I mean, I started as a cyclist post-COVID, right? Um,
COVID baby.
and COVID baby. You're right. You're right. And I started entering these Audax rides from 2022, right? 2022, 23, 24. Yeah, fourth year, right? I have been able to complete 200, the 300 km, and I've completed the 400 km ride once about 2 years ago, right? But I DNF'd the last year's ride as well. But
Mm,
I could probably cite medical reasons. But if my mental strength was stronger, perhaps I could have continued on that as well, right?
yeah, yeah.
And this time around, I felt all right. It was not a saddle sore issue. It was not a stomach issue, right? Like previously, right? But I just, it was just more of a mental block that just came, and it was more of like, why do I need to do this,
Right.
right? So I'm not sure if it was the weather on that particular day when it was pretty hot as well, right?
Mm,
And I was like, I don't need to like cycling. These kind of thoughts started entering my head, right? But I've been training for this. I've been getting some advice. I've been training for this, right? Because last year I attempted a 600 km, right? And George, you mentioned this in your video as well, right? I stopped at 530 km because
wow.
of unbearable saddle sore issues, right? I
Yeah,
knew I was not going to make the cutoff, but for me, it was like, let's complete the ride anyways, right? Who cares about the cutoff, right? It's the satisfaction of completing the ride. But I gave up as well at that time. So
yeah,
it seems to be a recurring theme. So I'm like, what's happening here? I
yeah,
started questioning myself, is cycling for me, right? So I'm gonna pause there, right?
yeah.
I could go on and on. I'm
Sure.
gonna pause there. Yeah.
I started doing longer stuff in 2003. Everything was what's the next big thing? What's the next hardest thing? What's the next, bigger and harder? That was my motivation. Very early on, I DNF'd a 400K. Now, my feet were in so much pain. It was, I think, my second year of brevet riding, and actually just my second year of long distance riding, 2004. And this was during the time when the advice was, oh, you need to buy shoes that are a size bigger than what you normally wear because your feet swell and dot, da, da, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, the marathoner advice for their shoes.
Hey, people, if you're listening, absolutely the worst advice ever. Buy shoes that fit you, period. Bought these, I was riding with these shoes and centuries and whatever, 200K, 300K, did a 400K, and now my feet hurt so, so bad. Why? because the footbed, the curvature of the shoe is not in the right place for all of those tender nerve endings in the bottom of your foot. There's this long ass climb out of our desert, one of many climbs out of our desert. I'm walking. Like I took my shoes off and I'm freaking
Oh,
walking the bike and I'm walking on the freeway. I'm on the freeway. I'm on the 8 freeway, the 8 interstate freeway. And you're on this climb, I don't know, like it's at least 8 to 10 miles there. Then you get off the main road and then you're on another road and you keep climbing, right? And I've already been in our desert for a century, 100 miles. And the border patrol guy comes up in 2004 and he's like, "Hey, you okay?" And I'm like, "No, my dogs are barking," right?
Oh, oh, that feels good. Oh, God, I'm telling you. My dogs are barking today.
So I make it all the way to this casino. I'm 200 and so for the audience, a 400K is around 250 miles. I'm about 220-ish miles in. I get to this casino. It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Uh,
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat something, take some time off the bike. I don't know where I got that advice from. I'm way too new at ultras at the time, but I did that. And I looked at my shoes as I'm sitting at the table after finishing eating, and I'm like, there's no way I'm putting those back on. I am in so much pain right now. So I call my significant other at the time. And this is this is a conversation that, you hardly ever want to have. And I said to her, I I need you to come get me. And she says, "Where are you?" And of course, I'm way, way, way far away, right? And you got to sit there and think about the logistics of getting her out of bed at 2:30 in the morning to come get you.
oh, that was just salt on it, man.
And she's got to drive, you know, put the baby in the car, drive, I mean, but that's the state I was in. But here's the kicker of all of this. And Fazrul, this is for you, sir.
Sure.
After I made that call, after I hung up and walked to a waiting area, it was like this huge stress had been relieved off of me about finishing, about dealing with my foot pain, about dealing with all this stuff. And I felt, why the fuck did I do that? I can get back on the bike now.
Okay.
no shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like when you're sick and you go to the doctor, but it's been 3, 4 days. And by the time you get to the doctor, you're sitting in the waiting room like, well, I might as well get whatever they're going to give me because I'm already here. But another 2 days, you would have been fine. Right. I just could not believe how I felt like I should not have done that. I should have gotten back on the bike. Not to mention, it was popper, popper down for about another 20 something miles, another 10 this way, that way. I probably had, even at the slowest pace, probably 3 hours left to finish or riding to finish. But I had like, I don't know, 6 hours of clock time left. So you have to really, really, really think about this when you're going to pull the plug.
Yeah, it's all in your head sometimes, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and Fazrul actually mentioned this in his email. He said, "I know that endurance riding is a mental game, and it is absolutely all mental. It has nothing to do with physical."
But what's the saying? 90% is mental and the last 10% is mental.
Yeah, I believe. I mean, now I can speak strongly, right?
Yeah.
Um, I believe if the mental strength is there, I think even the physical hurdles can be, attended to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can relate that. Yeah. But
Uh,
at that point in time, I can't think right. Right? At that point in time, look, if I miss this window, I might not be able to get a ride back.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, and
What do
I
they
get
say? You
that.
got you got to accept the suck sometimes.
Yeah, embrace the suck. Yeah. So I want to cover this brain thing in a minute. So I have all these sayings. Rev says, one of my sayings is train the brain because it's the most powerful muscle in your body. Train the brain. Train it. Go out and can suffer. I mean, all my training rides have always been harder than the event I'm going to do. If it was a 10,000-foot climbing century, I would do 12 in my training ride. If it was this or that, I would do, 3 repeats on a 12-mile climb, knowing I only needed to do 2 for the, you know, train the brain. Now let's go back to this mental thing. Do you realize how much glucose your brain needs? Just in sitting there talking to me, right? How
Not
much it
really. I mean,
needs, how much it
yeah,
needs throughout the day. Now
not
imagine,
exactly.
I'm sorry?
Not exactly, but we just feed ourselves as and when that hunger kicks in, right?
Right. But the brain, if you are not fueling yourself, the brain isn't getting all that glucose that it needs, and your mental faculties are not there. I know when I'm going into some serious debt because I can't compute, I can't make simple calculations. Like the stuff I can normally do. Okay, I'm traveling at X, next control is Y, da 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 da. It's going to take me this amount of time. Shit. And I have to like think about it like 4 or 5 times. When normally that's a simple thing. Oh yeah, it's going to take me, you know, 90 minutes to get to the next control. I'm fine with what I have, with what I don't have. I can deal with it. I don't have to pee. I don't have to, you know, use any facilities. I'm good. I can make it to the next control. There are times I'm sitting there, I can't do that calculation. Another advice I might be able to give you is just take a bolus amount of calories. Somehow get glucose back up to your brain so that your brain is processing and really, really knows the severity, the reality of your situation and where you are, what you need to do, how far to, all that stuff.
Yeah, and George, so I've never been on the ultra long distance rides. So what I'm relating this to is when I get hangry,
Yeah.
where when you get angry, the littlest thing will just derail you. It's hard to concentrate, and I'm relating it to that kind of mental state.
Yeah. You're cloudy.
Yep.
There's a
Hmm.
fog.
There's
And
Yeah.
that biochemistry bit as well, I guess. Yeah. I mean, if you're not feeding right, you're not thinking right as well.
that's right. But at the time, you don't know that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? At the time, you don't realize that that's what's actually happening to you.
Then it's
That's the
too late, you
reality.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you have to do is, I mean, like, seriously, start like, thinking, and it's like, oh, yeah, I know I've been here before. Okay, this is what happens. Okay, this is what I need to do. Okay. Because there's the other thing too, until you build up this repertoire of I suffered and I completed, you don't
Hmm.
have enough of those in your toolbox yet. You don't have
Right.
enough of those experiences in your mind of, oh, yeah, I did a 200 miler where there was 300 people that started. It was 60-mile-an-hour headwinds and only 8 of us finished, and I finished first. So if you don't have that, then the next time you're out and it's a 40-mile-an-hour wind, you're like, oh, this sucks. Oh my God, I'm suffering. But if you're like, oh, that's nothing. I remember when I did a 500 miler and half of the solo field DNF, 2-person teams and 4-person teams DNF'd, 70-mile-an-hour winds through Death Valley, and I finished. And once
Get
you
more of
start,
those in the toolbox.
once you start having those successes, and that's where the George Vargas, the red-eyed varial lore comes from, is all these ridiculous, crazy, stupid things that I've done on the bike, like doing a fixed gear, 10,000 plus meter 500 mile or 800K race. Who would ever do that? But I did. And so that is all just stored in there. It's all like, I've suffered this much before and I finished. This is nothing.
Yeah.
This is nothing. Now, one other thing. One of the times I DNF'd at that 500 miler, I was about 15 pounds overweight. I had moved 3 times and I had 2 jobs, or maybe it was one or the other. It was either 3 jobs and moved twice or something. And if anyone's ever lost a job once, they know how bad that is. If anyone's ever had to move once, they know how bad that is. Do that multiple times in 1 year and then try to keep your training up.
Oof.
So I show up to this 500 miler, 15 pounds overweight, not having trained. It was my 7th solo at this 500 miler. And I'm thinking like Fazrul, what do I have to prove? I've already done this six consecutive solos. No one's ever done that before in 30 something years of this race. And one of those was that fixed year. What do I have to prove? Remember that, Fazrul? You said that in your email.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But you have yourself to deal with when you don't finish.
Yeah, the
And
guilt, the next couple of days has been eating me up.
and the demons in your head. So here's another strategy that one of the shops I used to work at, I used to be a bike fitter. And that's a lot of one-on-one time with someone, even though the shop is out of control. It's, super busy. And I'm sitting there and you talk to the guy or whoever you're fitting. And, what are you training for? As you're adjusting this and adjusting that. Oh, yeah, I'm doing this Ironman, da 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 da. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a ultra cyclist. Oh, so you just bike. I used to love that one. Yeah, just bike. And then, I would tell them what I was going to do, what event I was going to do, and I'd describe it to them, and I would get their feedback, and I would have an exchange with them. And you know what? So many times while I'm out on that race course, I would replay that whole conversation in my head. I've got nothing else to do. I'm on the bike for 30, 40 hours. And I would replay that conversation in my head. And then you know what I would say to myself? I'm not going back to tell Johnny I didn't finish.
I'll replay this in my head, and I'm not going to tell George I didn't finish this time around.
Yes, if it works. If it works. But that was another strategy I would have. I would sit there and just go through that whole conversation. And I have a pretty good visual memory as well. And I'd remember when I was adjusting the guy's handlebar and he said such and such, and I said such and such, and da 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 da. 5, 10 minutes would go by. And that pain, that ache, that thing, it would be gone. So not only was I saying to myself, I'm not going to DNF because I don't want to go back with my tail between my legs and be like, yeah, Johnny, I didn't finish. I'm just a bike rider. You're a big ass Iron Man, right? But also the fact that it would distract me for a little while. It would distract me of the fact that it's, 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm falling asleep. Quick question for you on these brevets. Are you alone? Like, have you been like, you're either off the front or no man's land or something? Are you alone when these situations happen?
I mean, this particular ride, yeah, I was alone, and in most rides, I do ride alone. My wife used to follow me, but she's abandoned me on these long rides. This is taking up too much of the time.
Of
Um,
course.
but I'm still passionate about it, so I still
Sure.
pursue these rides, right? Yeah, but I do solo most of the time. You're right.
Well, not the
Yeah.
training rides. I'm saying on and the actual events.
Actual events, yeah, I still
Ah,
ride solo as well. I mean, in my mind, it allows me to ride at my own pace. If I want to go fast,
agreed.
I go fast. If I want
Yes.
to slow down, I slow down. Yeah. But then there's that bit where, you don't have anyone to push you when the time comes.
Right. No, well,
Yeah,
this is where I'm going with this.
sure.
Maybe until you get through this funk, you got to pair up
Mm,
with someone
all
and
right.
And it
and
helps,
hope.
drafting and, help, kind of work with each
Yeah,
other.
Yes,
yeah,
there,
It,
there
it helps a lot.
there's definitely that.
perhaps.
But the
Right.
accountability is what I'm looking for you.
Got
Find
it.
someone or cajole someone who's equally paced as you to start doing these events with you.
Sure.
Because if you hold each other accountable, it's not as easy to quit. It's the
Got it.
same thing. It's the same thing as when you like, you know, I don't want to go to the group ride. Blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
But if you had made a ride date with just one other friend, you you never bail.
Yeah, for our Sunday ride, as soon as I send out the text message, the group message, then I'm committed. I have to be there.
Yeah.
Right. So in the same sense of like, okay, I'm meeting John at
Hmm.
at 8 o'clock at the bakery or at the coffee shop, I will be there. I'm now, and make that commitment. And so maybe I have trouble finding people that are my own pace as well. Not because I'm fast, but also because I don't stop much. So it's not because I'm fast, it's just that when other people want to stop, I continue on and now I'm alone, right?
Right.
Okay, so Fazrul, I'm sorry for the interruption there, but how are we doing on diagnosing and providing some remedy for you?
I mean, the inputs provided definitely help. I guess, when the time comes, and I'm sure it probably would in future rides, right? I think the best thing I could do is run through this checklist, right? Have I done this? Have I done this?
Yeah,
Just take a breather and find ways. And I guess, George, what you mentioned is right. I think getting past that, getting more of those completed rides, I suppose, would help a little bit on that mental capacity as well, right? I think I probably just got to push through more of those kind of rides. I
yeah,
think that would really help. And I think I probably I don't know, was it a text or reply to the YouTube video comments, right? Perhaps just play one of your videos at that time. You know, why
yeah,
am I inspired to do this long distance rides, right? So
sure. Well,
perhaps
let
that
me
will remind me back.
well, let me ask you. I mean, if you drill down into some of these DNFs, one was saddle sores, one was boredom, for lack of a better description. Um, where are you on the time frame that you're allowed? Are you someone who has usually plenty of time to complete these events? Are you always like getting really close to the allowable time? And I don't know much about you, so what kind of rider are you pace wise? And and there's a reason why I'm asking this, but first,
Sure, sure. I mean, my average speed, I mean, if you're talking about a mixed terrain, right? Probably would be in the range of about 23 kilometers an hour,
yeah,
right? I mean, of course, we've got the flat bits, I could be riding at 30, and if you've got the hilly bits, I could be
yeah,
riding at what, 10, 15, right?
sure.
And in terms of time, George, I mean, the last completed brevet ride that I did was a 300 km ride. That was sometime in May or June, right?
Yeah,
And that had an allowance of about 20 hours.
yeah.
And I completed it perhaps, um, uh, 3 hours before the cutoff time.
Okay.
right? So I do kind of inch in close towards the cutoff time as well, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's a shorter ride, 200 km, I think I probably could do that in 7, 8 hours. But when it comes to the longer ones, 300 and above, I do push through towards the end. Of course, the ride plan, has me finishing much earlier, but you ride.
Yeah.
It's a
So
different game.
so is it your lack of training, lack of miles? Why are you on the tail end of it as opposed to being more kind of what I'm looking for is for you to have a little bit more cushion of time
Sure.
because
Um,
if you have more time, then you have the opportunity to sit out a bit,
sure,
right?
sure.
What I think is really important is there are people that as hard as they try, they're always going to be, you know, within the last couple of hours of finishing anything. And that puts a lot of extra stress on them. You
I
don't
might
have,
fall under that.
what's that?
I might fall under that category of people as well, currently at least. Yeah.
Right. So we need to work on that too. And so where do you think you're
The
leading?
climbs. The
Okay.
climbs. I'm relatively slow in the climbs. I mean, there's been improvement. I mean, I used to grind, now I spin, right? I don't
Yeah.
feel it too much on my legs.
Yeah.
But I suppose there's a lot more room of it for improvement, of course. Yeah.
Sure. I need to ask you this because I ask everyone, do you have
Feel
a
free.
power meter?
Caught red-handed there.
I'm sorry?
You caught me red-handed over there, right? So I don't. I don't currently. I've been seeing your videos. That's probably going to be the next investment. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you are doing endurance cycling, it is a must. You have no idea what you're doing.
Sure.
You
I can send you a
literally,
Wahoo power meter.
what's that?
I can send you a Wahoo power meter.
I mean it sincerely. You have no idea what you're doing.
Got it. Got it. All right.
You have no idea. You don't have a power meter. You have no idea what you're doing. Your perceived effort is always wrong.
Right. Right.
And your heart rate is irrelevant. And speed is irrelevant.
Not you, John.
So I've been referring to my cadence information for input, but you're right, George. I mean, George, it's not enough. Yeah. Correct.
It does not it doesn't tell none of that stuff tells you anything like a power meter does.
Got it.
How
Got
hard?
it.
Look, it's succinctly put. How hard you're pushing the pedals for how long. That's it. And if you're on a hill and
Helps.
you're trying to work on your climbing, how do you know what you're doing on that hill? I mean, heart rate is completely irrelevant. It's useless. Heart rate is useless. If it's 100 plus degrees, what is that? 38 Fahrenheit, Celsius, something like
Perhaps,
that.
yeah. Yeah.
If it's 38, 40 degrees, humidity,
Mm-hmm.
your
Yeah.
heart rate is a terrible metric for you to figure out how to pace yourself on a climb because you're running out of time. You've got a 300K, you've only got X number of hours to complete it, and you're running out of time. So there's that. And I'm sorry that I'm beating you up, but I'm just very
No, no.
emphatic. I'm very
I'm here
emphatic
for the
He's
input.
beaten me
I'm
up
here for
plenty
the
of times
input.
too, Fazrul. It's
because
not just you.
because I look, I'll share with you a little story. Yesterday, I've been sick for 8 days. I get on the bike yesterday. For whatever reason, my power meter, like, I don't know, this happens like once every 5 years. It didn't want to respond. It didn't connect to my Garmin unit. I rode 30 miles. What is that? 50K.
Mm-hmm.
2,000 feet of climbing. So whatever that is, I don't know, 600 meters. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue what I was doing. And I've been riding with a power meter for 22 years
Got it.
because you have no idea your effort. You have no idea. None without a power meter. Anyway, moving on from that. What I want you to do is how are you at your controls at your how do you do your controls? I mean, are you in there, you know, nature break, solid food, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna eat, or are you grab it and go? Tell me
So
about that.
yeah, so typically I plan my stops every 40 to 50 kilometers on an
Okay.
average. And some of these stops are longer stops, some of these stops are shorter stops just for refills and etc.
Yep.
So it's alternates, right? One short, one long, one short, one long,
Okay.
thereabouts, yeah. And the short ones are typically 15, 20 minutes, and the longer ones perhaps, 30 to 40 minutes. And
Okay.
that's how on an average, I pace myself as well.
Yeah. Now the heat, we don't deal with that here in Southern California.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we're in the desert and then it's over 40 degrees down there. Um,
I do feed on the bike as well. That's one thing to mention. Yeah.
you do what?
I do feed myself on the bike as well, right? So, but it's not your liquid nutrition,
Yeah.
but it's probably a cereal bar, some dates,
Okay.
whatever I could grab off the gas stations. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nick. So Nick has been using my product now for, I don't know, has it been a year at least, Nick, or how long? I mean, it's been a
Uh,
while.
yeah, it's been a while, probably over a year, but
Yeah.
yeah, I fuel mainly with that. My last ride, I think I just dipped into my pocket maybe once or twice for a like a Fig Newton type energy bar, but that was towards the end of it, and I was fueled pretty much with yours. I was with 300 calories per bottle, and
Yeah.
I bring enough mix to probably about 3,500 calories.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know,
So this is the thing. Even if you're not using my product, you got to find some other liquid type of nutrition for yourself because
and you got to drink. You have to drink even if you don't want it. Just set up a routine where you're just sipping, constantly sipping, and it helps. Yeah, I've never bonked.
yeah,
Right.
Here-
Right.
here's the things that work for me. And now they are just muscle memory, literally muscle memory. I catch myself many times like, oh, whenever I go to stand, right? So shift up, stand up, do my 10 pedal strokes, whatever, sit back down, boom, I always grab a bottle.
Right. Right.
Every time. Every time. Every time I go to crest, shift, drink, cresting, going down the other side. I've already put the bottle back in, boom, right? It's constant. Every time I'm approaching a traffic light, a traffic control, stop sign, traffic signal, whatever, I drink before I get to the stop, right?
Mhm.
Right? So I'm drinking, boom, put it back in, shift, okay, boom. Oh, light's green, off I go. Because you know what everyone else does? They wait until they stop. Unclip, put their foot down on the ground, they reach for their bottle. Oh, green light. Oh, gotta go. Right? And they miss the feeding opportunity. Find a routine that works for you and drink. Well, my suggestion, drink your calories. If you eat dates and figs and all that, whatever you do, by the way, very high sugar content, so be careful with those things. Watch all the fiber in those things because then you got to go
Oh,
to the
yeah.
bathroom, right? Fuel more, skip a stop or two.
Okay. All right.
Bank some time
Mhm.
because then when the wheels fall off the wagon or whatever the expression is, now you've got a little bit of extra time to be like, you know what? I still got 4 hours to finish this. I can do this. I'm going to sit here. Okay. What's your favorite guilty pleasure? Do you know that expression over
Yeah.
there?
Food
Yeah,
wise.
I do.
Food wise.
Food wise. Food wise, it really depends. I don't know. I mean, it can be chocolates at times, but at times like that thing can't even enter your mouth during an endurance ride, right?
No, but I'm
So
saying you get to that gas station, petrol station,
mhm.
whatever you call it there,
Yeah,
Donut.
yeah.
and you're looking at the shelves. That thing is what you need.
If I can
That could
grab a
be a
picnic bar,
reward.
I would be happy, right?
That thing that you would never eat on your couch,
Right.
that's what you need right then and there.
Right. Okay.
That
Got it.
Krispy Kreme. Yeah.
What's that, Nick?
A Krispy Kreme, you know?
A Krispy Kreme donut, which these things they call them crispy crack. That thing that you would never eat. You know what I used? I stopped for a long time. Those disgusting apple pies that have probably been sitting
Right.
on
Oh,
that
the home
shelf.
run pies. Oh my
What's that?
gosh. The
No,
home
it's
run
like a
pies.
Hostess or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
Oh
those ones.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
right?
Man.
But the pastry is terrible. It's sugar glazed. It's
Yeah.
awful for you, and you would never eat it any other time. But that's what you need at that moment.
Right. Got it.
Whatever that thing is. Look, one day I'll tell you a completely different story about a day I went out for a training ride. I think I had done like a 200 miler the day before. Sunday, I'm like, okay, I want to go out and at least get 100 today. Like, why? And I'm like 40 miles in, and I'm just like, this isn't gonna happen today.
Right.
Went home, still in my cycling kit, went to the grocery store, bought a loaf of sourdough bread, a dozen of eggs, and a pound of bacon. I ate all of it when I got home.
That's bad.
I was empty.
Holy
Right.
smokes.
And here too, I was empty. So
Mhm.
what did I do? I just said, okay, feed the machine.
Mhm.
Feed the machine. And um, I mean, there are just so many things that you can whine and complain about, but in the end, the thing you really want to do is just finish the event,
Correct. Yeah.
race or whatever. So, um,
Take whatever you need to take. Just block off that thought completely from your mind. Go forward.
and go
Yeah.
forward. Yeah, go forward. Um,
See if you can get somebody to ride with you too.
yeah.
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 I'll
Right. I
look
just think
into that.
about coming back on the show and being able to say I finished. How good that's gonna
I
feel.
look forward to that. I'm letting you know right now. I've got a 300 km in October, which is not usually an issue for me, right? 300 km, I've done it a couple of times now. The one that I'm really training for is the 600 because I've not successfully completed a 600. That's going to be in November, right?
Oh, that's
I've
yeah, right
What
gotten
after.
That's
what's
serious, man.
what's the weather like? What's the elevation gain?
I mean, the route's out, but I can't recall the exact elevations and etc. But I believe it would be a rolling terrain throughout. No steep climbs, yeah, but
Okay.
it'll be pretty much a rolling terrain, maybe 75% of the way, right?
Yeah.
And I've got the opportunity to do a 400 km back in December,
Okay.
right?
Wow,
And
that's
That's a lot.
three,
Boom, boom.
6, and then 4.
6. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm doing. I mean, I've completed the 3. I've completed the 3 this year already, but I'm going to use that as more of a training ride, right? So I'm still going to join that as well. And I'm saying it right here so that when I come back, I hope I to come back, to let you know I've completed those.
Right. Right.
That-
Hey,
That's a
the
that's a
the
great
six,
goal, man.
the 600K. All right. For me, always the hardest distance is the 400K.
Got it.
And you would say, why? The 400K for me is the hardest one because 200K I ride straight through, 300K I ride straight through, 400K, especially here in San Diego, they are really, really hilly or mountainous.
Right.
And, a 200-mile double century, I've done, I don't know, 70 of those as part of another racing calendar. But when you get those extra 50 miles, those extra 80K,
What do you do, George? Do you take a nap somewhere or for
Yeah,
400K or
and that's the thing. Like, what do you do? I ride straight through a 400K,
you
but
do?
that's where the
Wow.
suffering is because you have to get through all of it. I'm not a good napper. And in fact, that Achilles heel is actually my superpower. I can't sleep at night.
correct.
If even how exhausted I may be, I get off the bike, I lay there. I better get back on the bike. I can't sleep. Right. The 600K is actually easier for me because in most cases, you will have a nap. Right.
Mhm.
And guess where
Yeah.
they have it typically? At the 400K.
Mm.
They have a hospitality room, or they'll have uh, one of the last ones I did, it was a sorry if you can't hear that. It was a 600K. It only had 13,000 feet of climbing, so someone can do the conversion on that. But I did that in sub 24 hours. But at the 400K mark, the they had a someone's house that
Right,
they had
right.
put out some food, and they had put out like they had moved all the furniture so people could lay out on the floor and do whatever and catch a nap. But I said, no, I'm not doing that. I want to go sub 24 hours, right? Because I wanted that R60.
Right.
And luckily I paired up with a guy who was really strong, stronger than me, but um Bradford. And Bradford and I buzzed through it. But when we got there, we were the first two to get there. I mean, I could see how inviting it was. I mean, there was solid food. Like I've been liquid nutrition the whole time, and there was chicken and potatoes, and it was just like I could get sucked into this thing and waste a few hours here.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go sub 24, so I said, Bradford, let's go. So all I did was I changed my kit there.
Right.
We had a drop bag there, and but the 600K, do you have a hospitality room? Are they going to do the same thing for you there?
Um, Typically, I mean, what they would do is they would hold one of the control points at not exactly the 400 km mark, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it will be around there, about 350 thereabouts, right?
Sure,
I mean,
sure. Yeah.
the last year, the last 600 km that I did, yeah, it was at about the 350 mark, right? So which I rested maybe 2 hours, right? I did try to take a nap. And I tried to continue back the next day, but yeah, the hills just killed me, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that was a saddle sore situation
That
for
was a
us.
saddle saw. Correct, correct,
So
correct. But
how is that? What are you doing to work with that to work that out?
so that's been getting better. I mean, I've moved on to the Brooks Cambium. I think I've emailed you on that before, right? That's been working better for me, right? After that, right? Before that, I was using the 611 SQ Lab Active, which
Yeah.
I've thrown it away, right? Right. So the Brooks Cambium C13 has been working well, but you know, I want to gear up for the 600 well, right? So which is why, when you talked about I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, the Berthoud Galibier, right? So I've got one of those just, a couple of weeks ago. I've not really used that for any rides yet, but
Yeah.
I'm slowly I mean, I'm planning to break that in
Yeah.
before the 600. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. I mean, but I've got time until November, right?
Right.
Perhaps that could be the saddle for me. I mean, I can manage through the 300 km mark without worrying about saddle sore issues. It's what comes after that. I've not really tried with these new saddles just yet. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting a phone call and it's late here, so I'm like, what's going on? Um, okay, you gotta get this stuff ironed out before the 600K. Nick, you're on a 612R.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
love that. I love that seat. For me, it
you
works
think
well.
that's going to
Yeah.
take you to, you think you that's going to take you to your 300? Because I know you had a goal of a 300.
I've done it. I've done a 300 on it.
Oh, you have. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've got a 300.
Congratulations.
My next goal is a 400, and that's why I was asking you. Do you take a nap at a 400? I don't know if I could stay up that long. I don't know.
My plan was to take an hour's nap for that particular ride that I didn't complete. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'll always depend on how much climbing the event has, right?
Yeah,
I'd have to look at my finishing times on my 400s, but I just can't find any time to nap on those. I mean,
yeah.
the last one I did was like whatever 17. Johnny, you got to do my tech support here or my math support.
What's the time limit on a 400?
Convert 17,000 feet to meters. It's probably like 6,000 or 5,500 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was a 400K with like 5,500 meters or something like that. And
Right, right.
Yeah,
yeah,
5,181.6.
51, yeah. That was part of an 8K series. Like, they were trying to make them so that by the time you got to the 600K, you would be doing 8,000 meters, right? So 26,500 feet. I did it in 18 hours. So I mean, when was I going to nap?
yeah.
What is the time frame for a 400K? I forget.
27 hours.
27. Okay. I mean, you got plenty of time if you want to do that, but
I don't
honest,
know. That's my next goal for me.
yeah. Yeah, the more liquid nutrition and less stopping you do, you know, get further on down the course, you know,
Yeah.
and then worry about that nap. What else you got, Fazrul? I just want to make sure I was able to address at least some of your concerns. I mean,
No, I
obviously,
mean, I appreciate the input. I mean, I appreciate the input. And I guess the next thing is just going there and getting it done, right? And given the choice, I would want to just go back this weekend and go at it. But I've got a conference to attend, right?
yeah.
So,
No,
but and
work, family, it all gets in the way of our fun
correct,
stuff.
correct. And maybe I was also thinking to myself, that's all right. Don't rush, right? But
Yeah.
don't take too long either, right? I mean,
Yes.
I've been clocking in some guilt miles on my trainer for the past couple of days, right?
Yeah, I saw
So,
that. I have just a practical question. Can you pre-ride any of this stuff?
pre-ride as in the actual.
Yeah, the actual course. Just go out and do, a 200K of the 600K on different occasions.
I mean, yeah, of course.
The routes are up and they're local to you or
they
something.
are available, yeah. And typically a week or two before the actual rides, they would open it up for anyone who wants to be part of the recce team as well, right?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, yeah, it does happen. It is an option. Yeah,
Okay.
perhaps
What
that's
about
something
what
that I
about
could.
you, Nick, on this 400K? Are you able to do the pre-ride on that 400K?
Normally, because I've been riding with the New Jersey guys, it's kind of far away, so it's kind of hard for me. So
Okay.
usually I drive down the night before and
Well,
stay with
because
them.
because
It's hard.
all right. The more familiar you are with the course and
Mhm.
where the controls are, where is the gas station in between the controls in case you need to get something or I can bypass this control because I know there's this one that's, over here.
Yeah,
And I don't have to make it to the next control because this is another thing that I do a lot. I generally the only thing I do at the control is check in.
yeah,
I've gone to the store somewhere else. I've gone
Mm.
to the bathroom somewhere else,
yeah,
right? Because especially when I used to do a lot of double centuries on that calendar, you know, these events are very grassroots. They're very small, and they'd have like one porta potty, right? And a table with some nutrition and stuff. And that was the aid station. And so if you're coming in with three, four, five guys or girls or whatever, here you are. You all have to
Wait.
um,
Yeah.
Yep, get in line.
get in line, or it's like, okay, I'll fill bottles while you're going to the bathroom. Okay, go to the bathroom, and you know, and then three, four guys are ready to go, and the other, you know, three of us are not.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that's if there's nobody already there.
Yeah, exactly. And so now you're like, you're trying to rush to get going, and you know, then you didn't get your this, you didn't go to the bathroom. So forget it. I just go to the bathroom somewhere else and pull off in a bush somewhere, do my business, get back on a bike. I get to the control. Hey, you know, because we have electronic proof of passage here. Do you have that there?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Fazrul? Do you
Sorry,
know what that
what's
is?
that? No, no, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. It's when you just submit your electronic file, your Strava or your Ride with GPS file,
Right.
and it shows your GPS track that you went by that control.
Yeah, I mean, we
They
do. I
actually
mean,
have
we
an
do
app
record our
for
rides.
people.
I'm sorry, you first, Fazrul.
So, I mean, we do record our rides, right? So, I mean, I use a bike computer, and the whole journey is recorded as well. And if that's what you're referring to, I mean, then
Right.
it's recorded onto Strava, yeah.
Right.
But do they check that? They only check that if if perhaps you've entered the controls a little bit late and there's no one there and etc. And they just want a proof of passage, yeah.
Okay, all right, good. So my point is that when I do the stuff before the actual control, all they need to see is my little purple line that went right by that gas station
Right,
because I'm up the road, right? And that's how I
right, right.
save time too. Because a lot of these events are on a Saturday. You go into a gas station, there's, you know, 10 deep of people, you know, on their Saturday, you know, at the gas station doing their thing,
Yeah.
right? Just regular, not bike riders, right? They're just, you know, and you got to stand in line to buy stuff and you're waiting and you're wasting time. And I say this all the time. Time off the bike is time you never get back.
Got it.
Time off the bike is time you never get back. It doesn't matter how fast you ride after your 20-minute, 30-minute stop at that control, you'll never get that time back.
True.
So don't get off the bike. I know it sounds simple, but there's a strategy to that, right?
Sure, sure.
Carry all your own supplies. So all you ever need is water. And you can
Yeah.
get water anywhere. I mean, here in the States, I don't know about where you are, but convenience stores, gas stations, fast food locations, whatever, you can get water anywhere. So as long as you have all your own nutrition with you before you set out, that's a huge time saver. I'm talking about all these things because I want you to have enough time on the back end that if you need to take a 2-hour nap somewhere and that saves you from doing a did not finish, a DNF, then it was all worth it.
Save it for when you really need it. Yeah.
Save the time for when you really need it. If you feel fresh, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Same for you, Nick. Just keep
Yeah.
moving. Just
Make
keep
hay
moving.
when you can, right?
Yes. And, you know, what is 13K? About 8 miles per hour, right?
Yeah.
That's better than 0.
Mhm.
So anytime you can keep those wheels rolling, and I do everything with wheels rolling. I take my arm warmers on and off. I do this. I do everything with wheels rolling. I don't stop to adjust my gear. I
Yeah.
don't stop to change my Pandora station. I don't keep the wheels always rolling.
And
And
just
Nick,
to say, do that safely. Like if this is your first time trying to undress on the bike, the
I
race
can't
is
do
not for
that.
that.
I'm not coordinated enough to do that yet.
yeah, John's the rational one, and he always needs to rein me in. But Nick, I rode with you for what? I don't know, 5, 10 minutes. I'm like, stop with the brakes. Let go of the brakes.
And George doesn't use brakes.
What's that?
I said, George wasn't letting me use brakes, man.
I'm like, stop. Because he kept, and I'm like, let go of those brakes. Just stop. I never used the brake. Keep the wheels rolling. Anytime that you use the brakes, you have to reaccelerate. That's wasted energy. Anything you can do to stop wasting energy, you have that for the back end of the course, right? So, it's just, I'm a very efficient rider because I'm not fast, because I don't have the power that some of these other riders do. I need to find another way to keep up with them or beat them because I don't have the power. I don't have that raw power and strength and all that stuff. What I have is all the, the tricks of efficiency.
You got everything up here that they don't got.
And a big brain.
A well-fueled brain.
A well-fueled brain. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
George, I wanted to quickly come back to one of the things you mentioned about pre-riding.
Yes.
And I've noticed even on my short rides that I do, familiarity makes it seem much shorter. When you don't know where you're going, it just seems it's endless. It's endless. And so if you can pre-ride or even be in the car so you're familiar with the route, like maybe have your wife drive you so you can really take in the surroundings, then you kind of will get all those visual cues of, okay, this is here. I know how much further something is, so it's not way, way in the distance where your mind will play tricks on you and stuff.
Yeah.
And
especially at night, right? Especially at night, because you lose those visual cues that John's talking about, and things do look further. Things do feel more daunting when you can't see.
Correct.
So John, that's a great point. And are any of these courses you've already done, like the 600K that you DNF'd? Is this the same 600K?
Oh no, it's going to be a different route.
Okay,
so
of course.
Of
we can't have you getting bored.
Yeah.
Can't do the same one over, right?
Yeah. Well, look, I wish you the best of luck. And
thank you.
Honestly, if you have to text me in the middle of one of your events, and it's like, George, I am really, really suffering right now, text me.
I'll do that.
No, and I mean that.
Got it.
Yeah. Text me.
Yeah.
Nick, the same.
FaceTime him.
FaceTime me. Yeah, that's fine. Nick, same thing is for you, sir. If you're struggling and you're out there, I mean,
appreciate it.
Yeah,
that'll be great.
I would rather give you a little pep talk than have you DNFing.
Yeah, put on that drill instructor hat for them.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. Because then you would hate me. I can't go all Jillian Michaels on you. All right. Well, I'm hoping that there are at least one or two nuggets that'll help you get through your next event.
Definitely.
And for Nick, you as well. John, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I know that this is completely out of the realm of the stuff that you do, but these are real life situations that real life people have to contend with when they're out doing these long events.
They can be. I want to thank you, George, for all your help.
Of course.
And the bike. And I got to say, at my last event, your bike was a hit. A lot of people were coming up to me saying, wow, where'd you get that bike?
Because that's what it's all about, really.
It really is. And I can't tell you how many people came up to me. I was like, wow, that's a Ritchey. Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
And, California.
Awesome. Hey, one last thing before we go. So during our little break, John went to look at the menu at at the Scratch Labs table restaurant. Didn't seem impressed.
No.
But anyway, so what'd you think? What'd you think about our guest tonight? We had a gentleman in New York who just received his bike. He's kind of getting into this longer endurance stuff, and then you have this gentleman in Malaysia he's been stumbling a little bit, but he has some successes already.
Mm-hmm.
This was completely out of your realm because you are more of a shorter distance Hammerfest rider. So what'd you think about all that?
Yeah, I have to say it was pretty inspiring to hear all the different stories, and also it's very brave for someone to come forward and to say, "Look, I'm not doing so good at this." And to be able to ask for advice. It's very humble. And so I was very impressed with that.
You know what, John? The funny thing is that when I first started doing ultras, it just seemed like it was all tribal knowledge,
Hmm.
all the things that you had to learn over time on your own, unless you found a good mentor.
Hmm.
And then the world opened up for you and things, the mystery, the all of this like stuff that wasn't going to take you another 10 years to learn was available to you. Now I've only had a couple of people along the way like that. So I want to be that for other people.
Hmm.
I created an endurance cycling team back in like 2013 with its main focus of only doing endurance events. And it was, by invitation only, by resume,
Hmm.
only to get onto the team. And I wasn't selling my cycling kit to anyone.
Hmm.
It wasn't a retail item. It was resume, accepted, here's your kit. And
Hmm.
I turned people away. It wasn't a fashion thing. It was, do you want to do endurance events? And
Yeah, yeah.
we're gonna create a team around just this. 500 milers, RAM, all that kind of stuff. All the stuff that's completely off the radar. And, but um, one of the things that I found over time was I had to learn all this stuff. So now for Fazrul to be able to ask me questions and
Hmm.
have that exchange of ideas and experiences, I mean, I hope that I could be a quasi mentor to him because he wants to do the stuff that I've already done.
Hmm.
And what good is it for me to keep that information to myself?
Hmm. Hmm.
Not to
Yeah.
mention, not to mention, he's not even my competition. He's on a completely different, time zone, continent, hemisphere, whatever.
Hmm.
Why wouldn't I want to help the guy? But what you hit something on the head. They have to come for you for the help.
Yeah, you gotta ask. You gotta ask.
And then at that point, guess what? You know that person is open and
Hmm.
receptive.
Hmm.
Any other time that you're trying to download a bunch of ideas to them, they're not ready. It's not the right time. They haven't had the experiences before that to complete now with the knowledge you've just given them. And so until they're open and receptive and they've come to you for help, you sometimes can't really help people,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know. So I forgot to say one thing to Fazrul because it just came to mind. And this is why maybe someday I will write a script or actually make some notes. Because I ruminate about these things when I'm riding a bike, but then when I come here or anytime I shoot videos in my shop, I just talk top of mind
Hmm.
because I find that to be more genuine than authentic than reading a script to you. But I want to share this with Fazrul and Nick because, he was there too. the things that make you, and let's just say this one thing, but there's many others, but that make you a successful ultra cyclist is that you know that the way you feel now is not the way you're going to feel an hour from now, 2 hours from now. And take that on either side of the spectrum. You
Mm-hmm.
feel great. Well, you know, in 2 hours from now, you may not feel great. Or on the other end of the spectrum, you feel like shit. But what makes you a successful ultra cyclist is this will pass. 2 hours from now, I'm going to feel better and I'm going to continue on.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that means it's going to be 30 minutes, 2 hours, 12 hours, 2 days, if you're doing RAM, it will pass.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not one of these things where time plus mileage means I'm going to feel worse. Another way that I used to say this to people is, you know, the hard part about a 500 miler is that it's 500 freaking miles. But the good part about a 500 miler is that it's 500 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you enter a dip, a lull in your energy, you're falling asleep, your stomach cramps, you got diarrhea, you got, gas and bloating, and you got all this stuff going on, and you're puking on the side of the road. An hour or two from now, that's going to pass.
Mm-hmm.
Another 50 miles, another 100 miles, another 200 miles later, you're not going to feel like that. And that's what makes you a successful ultra cyclist. Because the person who quits back there is not a successful ultra cyclist. They're not going to get to the finish.
Mm-hmm. It's very zen of you, the temporariness of the your immediate state.
Well, I didn't know that that was Zen, but whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm.
that is, and Fazrul was actually available for more chat, and I just didn't even think about this, but to bring him back on to finish this off with him. But um, we should probably do another chat with him as he gets maybe ready for the 400 or the 600.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to remind me of this to kind of encapsulate this feeling of um or this philosophy of what you're feeling now is not what you're going to feel later, right?
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't actually get worse. You think it does. You think it's going to get worse. Now, if in his case he had saddle sores and yeah, that typically doesn't get any better. You just either it just gets to a point where it's so painful that you just forget about it
Mm-hmm.
because it's just so painful. Your brain, train your brain. Your brain has a very good way of selecting things out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sitting here and unless I actually tune in, there is noise outside, but most of the time it could separate that and stay
Mm-hmm.
focused here. Same thing. You're feeling pain, you're feeling this or that, or those distraction tactics, tactics that I was talking about earlier, those techniques of just, kind of thinking about this so that you don't have to think about that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's something that I think he wasn't really a mentor. We were driving to a 200-mile race, and he said to me, and this was like super early on, like this was probably only my second or third 200 miler. And he said, "So you want to be good at this stuff, eh?" Yeah, yeah, and I'm green, super green. And that's when we had this kind of discussion. So I'm paraphrasing and I'm kind of, trying to mold the words my way. But that's basically what he said. What you feel now is not what you're going to feel later.
Hmm.
Just because you're going to do another 100 miles doesn't mean you're going to feel 100 miles worse. And damn it if he wasn't right. Because that's what's gotten me through so many of these extreme events where you're like, the average guy, gal is just like, wow, I feel horrible.
Hmm.
How can I do another 200 miles when I feel this bad right now? But you can, and you
Hmm.
will. You shut that out. So anyway, that was probably one more nugget, but hopefully, it wasn't a fire hose of information today, and then maybe we can readdress it another time with him.
Yeah, and one thing I will mention about that, George, is even on my shorter rides, there are times. So there's a ride we go on towards Mount Hamilton where you go over a crest and then you come down into a valley and then you keep going and then you come down again and then you go all the way up. And there's no phone service out there. So if you get stuck, you're walking until you can get to phone service. And there are times when I've felt like crap at the bottom of that in that valley. There's no phone service, and you just tell yourself, "Well, I have no choice. I have to get out of here because I'm not gonna sit here all day."
Yeah.
So, and your mind just works on that. When you have no other choice, it'll find a way to accomplish things.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. If you have that out,
Yeah. Then
it's pretty easy to take it.
hmm.
In fact, in Death Valley, they used to do this 200 miler, and it would pass. I mean, this is just evil. It would pass the start finish line, but you'd still have to do another 50-mile loop to come back.
Oh, uh-huh.
So you're 150 miles in, and there's your cozy little
Yep. There's
hotel.
the devil tempting you.
Come on
Come
in.
here.
There's fresh food, and there's a beer at the bar waiting for you. And you'd have to, man
Hmm.
up and go out and do the extra 50 and come back. It was just, I mean, Death Valley, there's only so many roads, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the challenge there. So you'd come back through. And so the organizer got smart and started calling that an actual event. It was a super century. It was 150 miles. Because, a DNF rate, a high DNF rate can look bad for an organizer.
Hmm.
Some organizers like that because
Yeah.
like, oh, hardly anyone ever finishes my event. That's how hard it is.
Yeah. Let's call it the death ride.
Yeah. And I've been there too. I would create routes and rides that I just know, half of the people can't
Hmm.
finish it.
Hmm.
And the other half, then they can say I finished one of George's rides, right? But that, crossing through that start finish line and going back out. I remember one time I was on a tandem and I didn't stop. Because there is bathrooms and everything there and yeah. So that's just the way it is, you just gotta like, okay, I'm here for 200.
Hmm.
I'm not here for 150. I'm here for 200. Hella high water. I'm gonna finish this thing.
Hmm.
But what we were just saying about having an out, yeah, that was the out. It was super easy to just pull over and just you're at the finish line. Um, have you ever ridden in Death Valley?
No. No, I don't think we've even driven through there because we've driven towards Vegas a few times and we've seen the exit, but no.
It is absolutely epic to ride down there. You're in the valley.
Hmm.
Most of the time you're below sea level. and everywhere you look around you is mountains. And you have like 10,000-foot mountain over here, and you have this over there, and you have just like you have this one road that just kind of hugs the rock face and stuff, and it's absolutely epic riding down there.
Mm-hmm.
And Death Valley is not flat. It rolls constantly. You gain a ton of altitude while you're down there. And then on the south end, um it's a 6 mile climb, 1 mile descent, and an 8 mile climb to get out. On the north end, uh, I don't know, it's like a 17-mile climb to get out.
Oh,
So
wow.
you go from below sea level to 5,000 foot
Mm-hmm.
elevation. I mean, it's just you want to climb, you go to Death Valley. It's insane how much climbing there is. There's, I mean, you can climb from um, Furnace Creek, which is basically the only hotel in
Mm-hmm.
town in anywhere, and you climb from there like a 25-mile climb up to Dante's View. And then when you climb, you're up there like 50 something foot elevation, you look down to the whole valley. I mean, it's just insane. Just the, 5,000-foot climb, like real climbs, like not
Mm-hmm.
the bullshit that we call climbs around here, 3 mile climb and people get all upset, all in a tizzy about a 3 mile climb. Or you go up this other road, it takes you up to it'll take you out towards Nevada state line.
Mm-hmm.
Another 20 miler. I mean, it's just insane. It's just they're truly epic, climbs, right? And anytime you look behind you, you just keep seeing the valley that you've climbed from.
Oh, wow.
It's just an amazing place to ride. And of course, extremely hot. So you wouldn't want to go now in July.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, August. But when you go in like March, April kind of starts getting a little hot, or late September, October, November timeframe. Oh, it's just beautiful. Super dry air, just 70s. It's absolutely amazing place. So anyway, there's the tourism plug for the day, but honestly, if you ever get a chance to go out to Death Valley, and in fact, I've wanted to hold climbing camps out there, but there's only one place to stay, and the rooms are like $300 a night
Oh.
or more, or more. So, and there's nowhere else to eat. And so, they charge you like, 20, 30 or $30 for a steak dinner, which is like, tiny little freaking, so that they kill their own tourism down there because but who's to say that that is the economy? You got to get everything trucked in. And
Yeah, yeah, it's not easy being
so
way in the middle of nowhere.
yeah, so maybe that's the thing, but yeah, you ever get a chance, get out there. um eh, did you have something for today? Because I pretty much ran the program today with the things I wanted to cover. Do you have something you wanted to talk about today?
The only other thing that I had noticed during the week is I got a email from Wahoo saying all the V1 monochrome bolt head units or the Roams, that there was some issue going on apparently with one of the recent updates. But since I unfortunately haven't been on the bicycle, I haven't turned my head unit on, so it probably hasn't updated, and I haven't experienced whatever's going on. But that was the only other thing that was going on that I noticed in the bike world.
Well, interesting that you mentioned that. You're familiar with the Karoo,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hammerheads?
yeah. The other head unit. Yeah.
Do you remember when they they did an update, and in that update, um Shimano did not want
Hmm.
do you know what I'm talking about? Because I can't
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
right
because
now.
they got bought
Ram.
by SRAM, yes.
And
And
they
previously it would talk to DI2.
that's what it was.
Previously.
I couldn't remember. It was something
Hmm.
that if you did this update, you were no longer going to be
Yeah.
compatible. Okay, so that's what it was.
Hmm.
And I'm like, wow, Shimano, you got some balls.
Uh-huh. Campy would never do that.
Ah, but who rides that crap anyway? So anyway, so here is an example of Shimano um totally pissing off all these Karoo owners. Now,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
very small market, and of course they knew they could do that because they're like, well, we're bigger than you,
Yeah,
so
we're Shimano
we're
and
Shimano.
yeah, we own
Yeah,
that much market.
that's right. And I mean, you wouldn't want to pull that stunt with Garmin because Garmin would be like, well, and then what is it? The Wahoo thing. So what's happening? The update is going to do what? This
Let
new
me
update does what?
it was something about the GPS with it. Let's see what it said. Let me read the thing. Actually, I can show it here to you. And then I'll go ahead and read it. Dear John, we sincerely apologize for the recent inconvenience experienced with the first generation Element, Bolt, and Roam bike computers. Our
Uh-huh.
team has identified the root cause of the issue, which is linked to the way these older devices track GPS time using a limited 10-bit system. We've been working around the clock on a firmware update to restore, given the age of these devices, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for your understanding. So it sounds like something with the GPS, probably how it
Mhm.
records your ride.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I moved away from Wahoo. I mean, I probably have one of those older versions, which I'm
Hmm.
not going to do any updates on. And eh, yeah, I kind of lost my love for Wahoo. I never loved it, but I'm just, using the expression. I kind of lost
Hmm.
my love for Wahoo. And and it was basically in 2023 when we were training for doing the brevet series to qualify for Paris Brest Paris and struggling with battery life.
I kind of remember that's what prompted you to try out the solar, if I remember back then.
That's right. So, and what happened was we we were getting close to the finish. I don't know, we were like 10, 15 miles from the finish, and one rider didn't have a power cord, the other rider forgot or brought the wrong power cord. We're stopped. We're trying to sort all that out. I had plenty of life left on mine. I don't know why, but I plugged mine in as well just because we're not going to stop again to do this.
Yeah.
And and then I was like, you know what? We were that close. So I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about the 400K that I did in 18 hours, or or no, it was the 600K that I did in 24 hours. There is these, it's a it's a criteria. I don't even know if it's an award, but R60 stands for only using 60% of the allowable time.
Mm-hmm.
R70, R80. So R60 is really hard to get in San Diego, or I guess California, or anywhere hilly and mountainous. It's very hard to get because that standard is the same across the world.
Oh, whether it's a flat or a hilly I don't know if there's ever a downhill.
Right? So for a 200K, you get 13 and a half hours to complete it. So R60 is like 8 hours and 4 minutes or something like that, 8 hours and 6 minutes.
Hmm.
That's extremely hard to get here because our 200K has over 8,000 feet of
Hmm.
climbing. So it's 125 miles with over 8,000 feet of climbing, ton of traffic lights on the back end. On the last like 25, 30 miles, tons of
Mm-hmm.
traffic lights. And then even the last 5 miles is all on a campus. And you're doing this nonsense trying to get to the finish. And if you miss a turn, you
Uh-huh.
right. Anyway, so um getting ready for that PBP, I was like, well, this thing doesn't even do enough battery to do a 400K. And I got to do 3 of those. Right? If I'm doing my math right? Yeah,
Yeah. And
1200K.
and you don't want to stop.
Well, how many battery packs do I need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I went to the solar and that thing is insane, the battery life. And, luckily when we were there, we had, beautiful sunny skies. So all day long, I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
recharge, and you get hours back. Like it always tells you, you do a ride and it tells you, okay, you were out for 8 hours, you got 2.5 hours back or 3 hours back. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's insane. I don't have to charge my Garmin all week, and I do, 20 plus hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I still got plenty of time before I plug it in. So and I'm of the opinion that a lot of these things have a certain amount of charge cycles. So I don't want
Yeah.
to charge it after every ride, even if I only went out for 2 hours, right? I wait till I drain down the battery and then recharge it. Who knows? Maybe I'm just being overly superstitious or whatever, but I always think that these things, just like phones, have like, certain number of of charge cycles.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyway, that's interesting about that Wahoo thing, because I know a lot of people are still holding on to the really old,
Yeah,
because
I'm one of them.
yeah, well, it was a good unit.
Yeah,
It built their business, the Rome and
the bolt.
the Bolt. Yeah, it built their business. Everything after that, went color screens and a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
other stuff. And I just don't. And the other reason I got rid of my Rome was because I had 3 of them that the screen that laminated on it.
Oh,
So I'm like, yes, their customer service was awesome. Yes, they warranted it, but why
still,
do I have to do that?
yeah, it's still another hassle to go through.
Yeah, one more thing. One more thing, and then you're out of a unit.
Mm-hmm. For however many for the week or so it
Yeah,
takes. Yeah.
right. And because you got to ship it back
Mm-hmm.
and ship it back in the original pack. Who keeps them?
Yeah.
As soon as boom, that goes in the bin.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Anyway, let's wrap this one up for tonight. Thank you so much, John, for your time. I appreciate it. I know I'm taking time away from you and your family, so I appreciate that you come on and geek out with me. And this was an episode of Four Guys Talking, I guess.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, George. The next best thing to riding your bike is geeking out and talking about bikes.
Geeking out and talking about your bike. All right, sir. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone else. Please like and subscribe, and let's get this video, shared to some folks, because we do some deep dives and some stuff, and we like other folks to kind of, you know, see our stuff. I may even start doing some little clips like other channels do, but I'd rather be riding my bike, actually.
Right on.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you up the road.